Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
If you were forced to give up an item, let's just say OV scores his, what's the record for goals? 871. Say, I think it is, Wayne's. Say he scores 872 and against the opposition, and let's say Shesterkin, let's say it's in New York, and he fires the puck into the crowd, the goalie for the Rangers, and you catch it. And then the Capitals come over to you and tap on the glass. Can we get that puck? It's Ovi's. It's the record-breaking goal. A, you don't want to give it to him, but B, you know you should. What would be an appropriate...
But C, that's $1 million puck in your hand.
They say the football's $500,000.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
So the puck would be... This didn't break a record. The puck would be right there.
No, what would you want?
$500,000.
You scumbag!
How about that?
That'd be the coolest thing to have the record-breaking puck. But you know what?
Oh, it's $894. Sorry. So if it's $895, you catch the puck for $895. Because what Tom said was, we'll get him a helmet, maybe a couple jerseys or something. I'm not quite like you.
Yeah.
Not a complete pimp like you. I would say, I want the helmet. I want the jerseys. I want season tickets. I want lunch with you at the Golden Corral tomorrow, Tom. And let me think about it a little longer, and then I'll get back to you.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
In Texas writes in, she says, I like Jerry Springer as a talk show host. Oh, my God. We used to watch on the bus with the hockey team those tapes, Jerry Springer tapes. I don't know whose they were. They might have been mine. That was 30 years ago. We would send away and buy those damn things. Jerry Springer show. We'd watch them on the bus. Chair throwing. Be good to yourself and eat better.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, it's the RP Show. As Rick Regan says, our big voice guy, welcome to Canada's daytime sports talk show, airing in 32 U.S. states as well. We're good enough to let them into the party, and that's what we're going to have today on a somber day for a lot of people, and we'll be acknowledging that as the program goes along, but I invite you for the next 2 hours to check your brain at the door, because that's what I'm going to do. And Moose probably as well. I'm in the South Florida studio. Moose is in the Toronto studio, and we're ready to rock and roll and ready to talk sports. Moose, I'll just ask you, what's the top of mind for you today? What would you like to get to?
Lots, man. Yeah, I'm seeing all the coverage, watching a lot of football right now, it feels like. Less hockey, although dialed in a little bit last night. Have to be with our breakaway bets. But on a football note,
everything.
Whether it's the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Game, and Super Bowl coverage, Pro Bowl, to me, that's what's top of mind.
Okay, well, let's get down to it. Other than to say Matthew Barnaby will be with us 18th all-time in NHL penalty minutes. He'll be with us in hour 2. Looking forward to that. Can you guys hit the quick 6 show horn, please? Thank you. I do want to mention what happened last night in D.C. The tight-knit figure skating community was rocked Wednesday when an American Airlines flight carrying athletes, parents, and coaches from a development camp in Wichita, Kansas, collided with an Army helicopter and crashed into the river in Washington, D.C. 60 passengers and 4 crew members on the flight, along with 3 soldiers aboard the Black Hawk helicopter, are presumed dead. Condolences to them. And I'm sorry to start this on such a down note, but I just want to honor those that are affected. And from the Ottawa Citizen today, you can put his photo up, Clark, if you don't mind. Ottawa media personality Sean Simpson has passed away. The cause of death was not immediately known. Simmer, as he was affectionately called, was just 56, born in Vancouver and raised in Gloucester. Simpson was a goalie with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in the O when he was drafted in the 3rd round by the Washington Capitals of the 86 NHL draft. After 3 years in the minors with the Baltimore Skipjacks, he retired and turned his attention to broadcasting on the Capitals television network. From there, he became a scout with the Caps. And in 1997, was promoted to director of hockey operations. In 2004, he left the organization and became a scout with the Leafs. And Simmer returned to Ottawa, and joined radio station Team 1200 in 2012. Now TSN Radio, co-hosting various talk shows until 2023. So there's Simmer. I don't believe, Darren, you got to meet him in person, but I met him for the first time. Let me just say this, 2017 Grey Cup. I was broadcasting my radio show from the lobby of TD Place. You'd asked if I'd ever been there, the home of the 67s. I was there doing my show. It was Radio Row. Simmer was there with TSN Radio, and Lee Versage in the afternoon. Like kindred souls, we just clicked. It was like our souls recognized each other. We were friends ever since. He was been very open about mental health struggles that he had had over the years. And I called a close friend in Ottawa today, and I said, well, was Simmer's... Was him getting let go by Bell, did that trigger things in his life? And he goes, no, I can't say that that's the case. No, can't. But that close friend of both of ours was very down because of this. Because I told you, you look at all the photos of Simmer, any photos, he's smiling. And all I could say is that just tells you that you never really know what somebody's dealing with. So I just want to say condolences to his family and friends, because they are great people, and he was a great friend, and let's just say gone too soon. I won't ask you for any take on that. I'm going to move on to what happened on the ice last night. A goal from Willie Nylander wasn't enough for the Leafs, who dropped a 3-2 decision to the Minnesota Wild last night in Toronto. Minnie jumped out to a 2-0 lead midway through the first before Nylander got Toronto on the board with his 29th. Nick Foligno sealed the score with an empty netter, and the Wild handed the Leafs a third straight regulation loss. Because Game Plus Television is anchored in Toronto, a lot of big Leaf fans there, Moose. Over to you. How big of a panic is it in Leafland today?
Well, a little bit. And you even go back to the weekend, and not a great weekend either. And I've had some people tell me, in my DMs that are Leafs fans, say that end of the game on the weekend on Saturday was some of the worst hockey they've ever seen. And then it goes into last night, and you're playing a really good team. I don't think we're necessarily panicking coming out of last night's game, any of the Leafs fans, because Minnesota's a really good team, and it was a close game, and you played okay, but not good enough to win. And I think right now they're getting a little nervous, because you want to go into this, what do you want to call it, the Four Nations break on an up. You want to feel good going into the break, and losing 3 in a row is not. And this is a Leafs team that's had a really good season and feels like they're in a pretty good spot. But we'll see where they go. They're getting close to getting Anthony Stolarz back from injury. That'll be a big help, him on the ice. And we'll see. But, yeah, a little uneasiness is the best way to describe it today.
Well, I'll say this, man. We were in American Bank Arena last night, had a big time. The Panthers shut out the LA Kings here 3-0 last night. Drew Doughty's return, and it was a bit of a trick question when I asked you how the Leaf Nation is, because here it is with the Panthers. Podcasters, some media pointing out that the Panthers have a very shoddy record since December 1st. They've been up and down like 500. This is over the past couple days. And then they go out and blank the LA Kings. The barn's sold out. Bob records his 46th career shutout. Kachuk's got 3 points. Bob's your uncle. And they're in first place. They surpassed the Leafs, and everything's great. So it's like, oh, my God, just up and down. I'm putting it in my Weekend 10 Things column, which I'm going to tell people right now. Here's a spoiler. Well, go to rodpeterson.com. Sign up for our weekend newsletter. It's free. And I put random thoughts in there. And here's one. Don't get too high and don't get too down. Don't. I know nobody will listen. This is just for me, really, to say it out loud. Football coaches have been saying it for years and years and years, and it turns out they were right. But if you want to go panic when your team loses 3 in a row, or celebrate and make playoff plans when they win 3 in a row, go ahead. Takes too much energy for me. You and I were both 3-3 in our picks. We both picked 3 of 5 correct, so we still are tied. This could be a lot of fun going down to the wire, dude. 29-29 are our picks, right even in our NHL breakaway picks. And we got 3, 6, 9, 10 games tonight. Now, moving on, point 2B, or not to be, is our poll question today. The Utah Hockey Club has chosen 3 finalists for the permanent team name. and Yeti isn't one of them. Apparently, Yeti thermoses dropped the hammer, and they're not going to allow them to use their name for the team name, which I think is a bad decision. But anyways, franchise is going to use a final round of fan voting to decide whether it'll be the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, or the Utah Wasatch. And I don't even know what the hell that is. Team officials backed away from including Yeti as a finalist after being unable to work out a coexistence agreement with Yeti Coolers to use the name in branding and merchandising. And that's fine. They're like, we don't want you playing in our sandbox. We don't want to play. We don't play nice with others, Yeti. I'm going to boycott Yeti thermoses now that I think about it because of this. The poll is for EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Look them up, emjmarketing.com, and ask for Joe. I'm voting for Mammoth. I like Mammoth. How about you?
I like Mammoth, too. I think it'll be good. But I'm voting for Hockey Club. To be honest, I wanted the Washington Commanders to stay with Washington Football Team or whatever it was. But I'm a believer that there can only be one. Once you have a second hockey club, football club, etc., it's watered down and it's no good. I mean, they do that maybe in European soccer, and I get that different culture. I don't know that over there. I don't speak to it. But Washington didn't use it, so it's open. I vote Hockey Club for Utah and just be different and embrace it and go to town.
So this is fun. John at Edmonton is up, and Adam Early, he writes in, he says, that company has Yeti trademarked, and they're a really well-known brand. They don't want to lose that to a hockey team, Rod. Hey, that's fine. That's their thing. They had the name first. I get it. But again, I think it would be great cross-promotion, cross-branding. I think their colors are kind of blue, black, and white anyways. It would fit together really well. The Judds sang it. Love can build a bridge. Or, we are the world. Like, let's come together. Kumbaya. Coca-Cola, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Why can't we work together? Shut up, Rod. It's business. All right. I forgot. Jeremy writes in. He is from Winnipeg. He is a Detroit Red Wings fan and Chiefs fan. He says, it's January. Let's panic. I think that's sarcasm. Navy Dawn writes in from Ottawa, and he says, Leafs fans not panicking? I know. Why did I even say it out loud? You do you. I'm just not going to get that wound up. This is one thing that I love about Serena, of many. My blushing bride. She regularly says to me, you know what I like about you? It's several things, but one is she's like, you don't ever get rattled about anything. You don't ever freak out. I'm like, that's the new me. So congratulations. I'm all yours. Ta-da. So I've learned. What's the point of panicking, man? It's just a waste. She likes it. It's nice to have somebody say, here's what I like about you. Moving on to point 3. This is where it's going to get real fun. You know where I'm going with this, Moose? You knew when you said yesterday that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, of the Canadian Football League have become something of lovable losers. Alarm bells went off in my head. Alarm bells. Because I'm like, number one, I don't.
I was going to say, you were like the guy on Inspector Get, up at the top. You're like, you heard the words come out, and I think you were writing them down before I finished the sentence.
That's why I think people enjoy this show, man. If we saw everything the same way, it'd be pretty damn boring. I don't see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as lovable losers, even though they've lost the last 3 consecutive Grey Cups. But you do. I also don't see them as a dynasty that Blue Bombers great Milt Stegall seems to have fooled himself into thinking that they are. Because they're not a dynasty either. But holy smokes, did you rev up the people in Winnipeg? Which, by the way, we spelled lovable wrong on the meme which we posted. But that went through me, so that's okay. My name's on the show. That's what leaders do. Put it on me. Put it on me that the spelling was wrong. But I also say, I don't care. I've seen potatoes spelled with an E on the end and not with an E. I've seen lovable spelt both ways, and we're in a time, an era where who cares? Accuracy doesn't matter. I'm not staying stuck in the past where we weren't allowed to make a mistake. We paid for it with an inch of our life, and who cares that it was spelled wrong? The point's there. It's the thought that counts. That's what's never changed. Does it bother you that you revved up? Why am I struggling with that word? Does it bother you that they're a little upset with you in Winnipeg, or no?
No, not at all. Because, and that's partly why I just kind of let it go. Like, we put it out there, and, you know, I haven't interacted with it. I just kind of let it go. Because the idea wasn't to revel up Winnipeg. The idea is to say, look, Winnipeg, I think you're likable now. I think the last few years of you, and we were comparing it to the Chiefs, of them winning every year, I think everybody was kind of rooting against Winnipeg, you know, because they're the big bad Blue Bombers. They won. Everybody was happy when they won. Then they won a second one, and even that was maybe okay. And then people hated Winnipeg. You know, they became not the evil empire, to steal that from Edmonton, but they became the team that was better than everybody else. And now that they've lost these three, I think, you know, I think I compared them to a bit of a wounded dog yesterday. I think they're likable again. I really do, because they've gone through a little bit of pain. So I think it's easy to root for Winnipeg. I'll be rooting for Winnipeg with the importance of a home Grey Cup. And I'm with you. They're not a dynasty, but if they win, I think then the dynasty word is back on. So there's a lot at stake here for Winnipeg.
It's in Darren's column yesterday, which is really good. You can read it now at rodpeterson.com. This may be the biggest season in Bomber history, them hosting the Grey Cup this year. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he says, 3 is a dynasty. Come on. Yeah, but they didn't win 3. Okay, they won 2. And they've lost the last 3. We all agree 3 in a row is a dynasty. They don't have that. So what, to quote your coach, Mike Kelly, now what don't we understand about that? God, what a great quote. That echoes in my head all the time. Being handled internally. John in Edmonton writes in and he says, Rod, if you're asking what we want to talk about, it's the National Lacrosse League. Hey, John, go talk about it. Who's stopping you? Go ahead. We'll be over here talking about what we want to talk. You go talk about the NLL. That's fine. Regarding the team names, Bomber Boy is watching in Calgary, and he says there's nothing special about Yeti products. Medium quality products. You're paying for the name only. Well, that's what's in branding. We all know that. I think. Hang on.
You got one.
Oh. What's it say right there, Moose? What's it say?
Are you going to throw it away? Live on the air?
Well, I might.
Oh, no.
Look at that. Can you read what it is?
Oh, it's got the Grey Cup on it. That's pretty good.
It's the Coupe de Grey. This came from the CFL, those bastards.
You can't throw it away. It's got the Grey Cup on it. You could maybe scratch off the Yeti logo.
I'll just put tape over it. How about that? You hate the NHL. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in, he says, keep the hockey club, soccer club, basketball club team names for the rest of the world outside U.S. and Canada leagues. Over here, teams have names until they don't. Paul in Humboldt writes in and he says, I have been calling them the Utahns. Yeah, that's cool. I call them the Utah somethings. But I mean, Edmonton went as Edmonton Football Club for a year, didn't they? I kind of thought that was cool. We know that the Washington Commanders did. Washington went as the Washington football team. I thought that was cool. I don't have a problem with it. I said the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, should just go with city names all along. But, of course, they never asked me. They don't even know I'm alive. But now it's the Scepters and the Sirens and I don't know what the hell. I don't even know who they are. So had it stayed with Utah, which is what Darren wants, I'd have been okay with that. But I'm voting for Mammoth because that's pretty cool, too. We'll be back. We got NFL stuff to get to. More on the Bombers being lovable losers. NHL tonight. Matthew Barnaby is on the way. We're live here on the Game Plus Television Network, streaming live and podcasts wherever you find your podcasts.
sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, it may take weeks, months, or even years to get the call to be a stem cell donor. Saving lives takes commitment and dedication, just like being a hockey player. Give hope to patients in Canada. Register online at blood.ca/get swabbed and spread the word amongst your family and friends today. If you haven't had fun yet, it's going to get real fun as we bring in the Moose, 902-518-3033. Before I plod along down the happy trail of sports talk here on national television in Canada, is the Moose here? Because I'd kind of like to have his reaction. Here he is. I told you this earlier. This will be new to the viewers. I had a very interesting 10-minute span this morning, right, at LA Fitness. Joe Girardi. You listening? Are you listening, Chris from the Bronx? Listen up, Chris. Because he calls him Joe effing Girardi. I walked up to Joe because our Cats and Bolts podcast viewers, 81% of them said we would like to see Joe Girardi on your hockey podcast here in Florida. I'm like, okay. I see him every day at the gym. And Darren, I really didn't want to. I didn't want to go bother him. Because what I say, you don't bother a dog when he's eating. You don't walk behind a horse. You shouldn't bother a guy when he's working out. But I made a pact way, way, way back years ago when I was working on the radio in Weyburn. And I was selling advertising there and also on the radio. And I found sales to be a really hard thing. And I'm like, well, I'm not asking for his money. I'm just asking for his time, an interview, a little breath out of his body. It's not that big a deal, right? And back then, I was worried about asking the Weyburn Red Wings for an interview. Coach. Now it's Joe Girardi. So I walked up to him in the gym. And here's the thing. I was running, and I looked down, and he was staring at me. For once, I wasn't the guy doing the staring. It was Joe. So I gave him that. I'll be right down. Finished my run, went down there, and I'm like, hey, Joe, I do a hockey show here in downtown Boca, but my viewers they say they really want you on the show. And I'd like you on, too. Gave him my card. I said, would you consider it? And he's like, but I don't know anything about hockey. That was literally what Joe Girardi said. And I'm like, we don't care.
How about
that? And he's like, I'll think about it. Okay, I'll think about it. I said, hey, that's all I can ask. I said, and our producer, Ben, is close friends with your son, Dante, apparently. They used to go for bagels together. And he's like, okay, I'll think about it. So I'm waiting for a text from Joe Girardi. I walk down the hall, and this lady stops me. I was wearing a Rough Riders workout shirt. And she goes, hey, are you a Riders fan? I said, actually, I used to work for the team. She goes, so did my husband. I'm like, who? She goes, Darian. I'm like, what? There's only one. It's not like his name's Rob or Mike. It was Darian. So I said, you tell Darian to get his ass in the gym. And I'd never met Darian's wife before. So I'm handing out my card to her. Thank God I carry business cards around with me, Moose, everywhere I go. I had a girl laugh at me. I asked for her business card. That Michelle from L.A. a couple of weeks ago, she laughed at me. She said, anybody use business cards anymore? Well, I do, and I'm used to be a stickler for spelling, but I'm not anymore. But anyways, that was today. So that's pretty damn cool, but that's just getting out of your house, going out, seeing people, talking, and being part of society. Anyways, do you have any thoughts on the opening 25 minutes before I move on to the next topic? Anything you'd like to get off your chest?
Lots cooking, but that's it, man. You go out, you see people, when you say yes to opportunities or yes to things and you go out, good things happen. You know, even just getting out of the house to go get your own groceries as opposed to getting them delivered. It's little things like that. It's cool, man. It's cool that you ran into her. And Joe, obviously.
God shots, I think, because I'm now an ordained minister. These things are happening. That's all I can think. Speaking of, Vintage Sasko writes in on the 902 text line. He says, hi, Reverend Rod. I think they should go with the Utah Yeti Blizzard. Get those cup-making mofos and the DQ mafia after them. Controversy sells. Signed, Vintage Sasko, the Baltimore CFL Colts, he says. And I'm like, okay. Coolio.
What are you going with, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Reverend? Is it Minister? Is it Father? Like, what should we call you?
All of them. All of the above. You call me whatever you want. It's very godly. Actually, from my monastery, the Universal Life Church sent me an email this morning saying only 30% of Americans even trust the clergy. They feel that I could, help turn that around. So that's my task now. Okay. What I have is point 4, Darren. NFL Pro Bowl skills tonight. We kind of put this to bed yesterday. I think you were on the air with me when we learned Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jaden Daniels aren't going to participate in the Pro Bowl skills and flag game, which the whole weekend begins today in Orlando. So I went to the National Football League site, of which I am a member of the media crew. Here we go. The NFL announced today the AFC and NFC Pro Bowl players who will participate in the NFL flag football game and unique skills competition during the 2025 Pro Bowl games presented by Verizon. It'll be broadcast live from Orlando on ESPN and ESPN+. I don't know where it'll be in Canada. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere, Moose. I was a little poo-pooed by you. I asked if you would be watching this later on today, and you said no. But I might maybe change your mind. This has a little to do with being a salesman, Today, passing the test is the name of this competition. Quarterbacks try to hit targets at various distances around the field worth different point values in 40 seconds. You probably remember watching it last year. They do it at that ESPN Fieldhouse at Disney World. So for the AFC, it is Joe Burrow. For the NFC, Jared Goff in this. Also for the AFC, Drake May. Quarterbacks for the NFC, Sam Darnold. And back to the AFC, Russell Wilson. For the NFC, Baker Mayfield. That's the first one. Next, satisfying catches presented by Snickers. One wide receiver, tight end, and defensive back from each conference will compete in a challenge obstacle course, including catches from a jugs machine at 3 different distances to test every aspect of catching a football. The competitors are Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, Derek Stingley Jr., Justin Jefferson, Trey McBride, and Jalen Johnson. If that's not enough, Darren, the big spike. 3 big men from each conference step up to the spike-o-meter and have 3 attempts to score the highest number on their spike. The player with the highest score, measured by power and impact, will win their conference 3 points. And the competitors are Rashawn Slater of the Chargers, Quinnen Williams of the Jets, Joel Petonio of the Browns, Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, Dexter Lawrence of the Giants, and Frank Ragnow of Detroit. There's the relay race. Helmet harmony, my God, I think they should have a 3-legged race. I think they should have a cornhole tournament. Oh, my God. They actually do have dodgeball. Is any of this interesting you enough to tune in tonight on what I'm assuming will be TSN?
It is. Like, it's interesting. I mean, I used to live for this stuff as a kid, and I was telling you, like, I don't know if it's changed and it's not as good as it used to be, or if I've just gotten older and an older demographic's just not that interested as you are when you're younger. But, you know, there's so many guys in and out and opting out. Like, Russell Wilson's a Pro Bowler this year. Thought they were going to cut him now in the offseason. So that part I have a little bit of trouble with, but it'll be fun. We'll see how serious they take it. The dodgeball tournament's fun. The interactive part is fun. Who am I kidding? I'm probably going to tune in to see what it's all about. Will it hold my attention for the night? I don't know.
Well, let's remember this. Russell Wilson is only in it because he's an emergency replacement to the 3 quarterbacks that I pointed out earlier. Drake May, Baker Mayfield, and Russell Wilson are backups for the Pro Bowl. So overall, I know you have pointed out that I complain about complainers, so I might be part of the problem. So I guess what I'm saying is, if people want to complain about the fact that there is no Pro Bowl, or they want to complain about when there was a Pro Bowl and the quality of play was so bad, or now here's another one. This is a legit contest, a tug of war. And it's like they need to explain it. This is from the National Football League, Darren, a fairly reputable organization. This is in their news release. A 5-on-5 demonstration. This is what it is. A 5-on-5 demonstration of teamwork, strength, and strategy, and positioned above a foam pit. Players are challenged to pull backwards, stick with me, pull backwards on the rope, attempting to move the opposing team in their direction. In case you haven't been paying attention to any of the contests that have been contested since before the birth of Christ. The Greeks were doing this thousands of years ago.
Dragons and alligators instead of foam pits.
No, but please explain to me what a tug of war is, because I missed that day in grade 2. I'm talking myself into not wanting to watch it.
Hot damn!
The flag football game on Sunday, however, is a little different. I was talking to somebody the other day, and Serena was with me. You, me, and her. Broadcast the World Flag Football Championships. Dude, oh my. You should have seen their face. I don't know who the hell we were telling, but I said, we were in UNC Charlotte Stadium, Mexico versus USA. I'm doing the play-by-play. You're doing color. She's on the sidelines, and the stadium was jammed. 1/2 USA fans, 1/2 Mexico fans. And let me tell you, I thought there was going to be fists flying. Remember that night? We were doing it on the Olympic Network. But because Canada doesn't carry the Olympic Network on any cable carriers, it's not a big deal. It's only flag football. Okay, well, 500,000 people watched it. So that got me into flag football. Was calling it. And what was the girl? Joe Overstreet. You remember her. She was the quarterback for USA. Last year I'm broadcasting at the Super Bowl, and she comes down as a guest of USA Football on this show. She literally recognized my voice, and she's like, hey, didn't you call the games last year? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you're good. Well, thanks. I'm glad somebody noticed. Anyways, the flag game is on Sunday. Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Drake May, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield. You don't really need running backs, but Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Gibbs, Josh Jacobs. That's something that I will. Is that something that you would be interested in? I will.
Yeah. I'm really curious this year, next year in 2026, maybe 2027 is probably the year. Who's in this? And how much are these guys trying with the Olympics coming up? You know, and guys that are really interested in the Olympics, will they take this seriously? I'm curious. It's fun. They're going to have fun. I don't know how serious they'll take it. Not enough that they're going to go out and risk injuries, but I'm curious to see how this progresses, because I think now with the Olympics, this little flag event for NFL Pro Bowlers is going to be really interesting.
Oh, it's amazing. They announced the IOC, International Olympic Committee, announced that flag football will be a part of the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028, but that's still 3 bloody years away. It's too long. We can't fire up a controversy that will last for 3 years. Believe me, I've tried. But the controversy will be who will represent Canada in the flag portion, because Canada's going to have a team. You want Nathan Rourke at your quarterback? We're going to drag Brandon Bridge out of retirement from the Peel Police Department down where you live? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? Are we going to use Canadian NFLers? Probably not. But that's not a conversation for today. 902-518-3033. One more segment with Moose, and then viewer takeover after that, and then Matthew Barnaby in hour 2. We'll be right back here on Game Plus, streaming live and podcasts wherever the best podcasts are found.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house. Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues in hour one of the program is brought to you by Culligan Water. Drink clean, live green, filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit culliganregina.com. Let's bring in the Moose. The audience is asking, or was it you two asked earlier, what should I be addressed as? Father Rod, Minister Rod, Padre Rod, whatever. Mark in Melfort writes in, he says, call Rod whatever you want, but don't call him late for supper at the Golden Corral. No.
Bingo!
Can I just say, it's not getting old that I'm now an ordained minister, and quite frankly, so's Darren, but I think I'll be the first one to use it. But last night, Darren, I think my stories have a lot more impact when I can provide visual evidence. Here's a photo from last night. Last night, Panthers-Kings game, Thad and Jake, two good friends of mine. Well, you've met Thad over my left shoulder, your right, Darren. That was at the game last night. Jake on the left, Thad on the right. Thad manages the Beach House in Pompano, sponsors of our Cats and Bolts podcast. We've done live shows from there. Okay, we can put Clark back up. Thad's like, what's new with you, Rod, since the last time I saw you? Since the last time I saw you, what's new? I said, well, I'm an ordained minister now. You should have seen his face. And then they were asking me what that all entails. And I said, I did it so that I can perform weddings, funerals, baptisms, ceremonies here in the state of Florida. He's like, I should do that. I feel like everybody, I just blaze this trail, and then people follow in, whether they want to or not, But that happened last night at the Panthers game. That was Jake and Thad. And Thad said to say, hey, wants to know how you are. How are you, Moose?
Oh, good. Good. I miss him. And it was fun down there. I got to get back there again. Maybe I'll send him a text today and check in on Thad, see how he's doing.
We have a lot of things to check off when you get here. A lot of things to do. Okay, so we're talking about the Pro Bowl Skills Challenge, which begins tonight in Orlando at ESPN World. It really is great. It's just, you drive by it on your way into Disney World. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says if they want people watching, they need to get the Pro Bowl back in Hawaii. Well, Jeff, the Stamps fan, you're a great guy, but if you're following this, they don't do that anymore because the players don't hit each other, and that's not going to happen, okay? So I'll say it again. If you don't want to watch, don't freaking watch. Shy in Saskatchewan writes in, he says, questionable about a cornhole contest. Well, I'm like, if you're going to have a tug-of-war, you might as well play cornhole. Allie's checked in from Texarkana. Happy Thursday, RP, Moose, and squad. Hang on with me. Paul in Humboldt says, has the CFL ever done a Pro Bowl / All-Star game? I can't remember one, and I'm old. I know the answer to that, but I'll lob it over to you.
I don't actually know. I don't think I remember the answer. I have these visions in my head about yes, but I don't know if that's because I cook up so many ideas that I think it would be great. I thought there was talk of it in the past.
Well, here's the thing. I worked on the Score television network many, many, many years ago, and we used to air the Damon Allen Quarterback Classic. Does that count?
Yeah.
When DA was the quarterback for the Argos. And long before that, my good longtime friends like Steve Mazurik and some of those old CFL farts did participate. Maz got a belt buckle. If that isn't just the greatest CFL thing, for participating in the All-Star game in like 1980 or something. But they haven't done it for years. They don't have CFL week anymore. There's no Ryderville in Arizona. When are you guys going to realize there's just not a whole lot going on? Sports update. Minnesota's Marc-Andre Fleury plays his final game in Montreal tonight as the Wild face the Canadiens. The 40-year-old netminder from Sorel, Quebec, is in the final season of his distinguished NHL career. The Wild are coming off a 3-1 win over the Maple Leafs in Toronto. Habs looking to rebound from a 4-1 loss to the Jets on Tuesday. How much are you paying attention to these all-quarter century teams that are coming out? And I ask because Fleury was not named to the Golden Knights all-quarter century team. Aiden Hill was, which I think is a further kick to the junk of the flower. That's between them. It's got nothing to do with me. Are you paying attention to it?
A little bit. That was a tough one. But Aiden Hill won him a Stanley Cup. So I think when you're looking at the history of this, what do you value? And, you know, Marc-Andre Fleury, though, with those golden pads and he's so good with the media and with the public and all the rest. And it was the start of the team. He really put the Golden Knights on the map, right? He was the identity for me of the Golden Knights. He was the Golden Knights when they started. He really was, more than anybody else. But it was Aiden Hill who won the cup. So who do you put on the quarter century team? Hard to argue.
What's amazing about that, and this is kind of shame on me. I'm sure they've already named the Leafs team, but there's enough guys that cheer for the Leafs and follow for the Leafs. You don't need me. I looked at Montreal's team, and it was mostly Europeans, which, by the way, is fine. Thomas Plekanec, Saku Koivu, Andrei Markov, Alexei Kovalev. The only two North Americans were Carey Price in goal and Shea Weber on D. And I'm like, that's not the most fantastic quarter century. Let's be honest. We all know that. But on the Cats and Bolts podcast, which we aired yesterday, or we recorded yesterday, and producer Ben had it dropped by supper time. You know my wife. She complained for, I don't care about that quarter century team. It's stupid. Montreal's been around for 100 years. Why would you single out 25 years? This is stupid. This is dumb. And then we talked about it for 10 minutes, and it was great. And I got a DM today. This guy, Steven. How about this? He DM me. He goes, love the podcast. I'm one of the Dolphins equipment managers, but my first love is hockey and the Panthers. Been a fan since 1993 when I was only 8. Love the show and the interviews. So there's a lot of fire and debate on there, similar to what you and I have here. It gets a little more spicy over there, but that's okay. Moose Alini, take a break, unless you have anything else to say before we step aside.
That's good. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Okay. I didn't finish the sports update, so I will when we come back. And viewer takeover. And I'll remind you, Matthew Barnaby coming up in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasts, wherever you find your podcast.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, do you have a winter birthday in your house? And is the birthday boy or girl obsessed with hockey? Then look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary to throw the best birthday parties in Cowtown and area. With state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages, Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect destination to build your teams, celebrate birthdays, you name it. I love it. Book your lanes today, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. By the way, this is funny. I don't know how this happened, but I have my texts synced up to my MacBook. I don't know how it happened. I didn't ask for it. Pisses me off. But sometimes I get worthwhile text messages. Kate Pedersen has texted me, and she says, hey, have you been to the TGL yet? She says, I'm on my way back to West Palm Beach. That's Tiger Woods indoor golf. We were discussing it the other day. I can't remember if it was on the air or off. I think off the air with our crew here. And I'm like, I have not written her back yet. I will, but I'm not a golfer. I won't be going to TGL. Everybody around here is talking about it. Florida is the golf capital. I won't be there. I'm more of an Overtime Hockey Lanes kind of guy. No joke. The Ottawa Senators look to extend their two-game winning streak as they host league-leading Washington tonight. Cap star Alex Ovechkin enters the game 19 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL record. Also tonight, Winnipeg visits Boston. Flames entertain Anaheim, and Edmonton is home to Detroit. If this is old, let me know. Canada will announce its captain today for next month's Four Nations face-off. The tournament will be held in Montreal and Boston. It'll run from February 12th to the 20th. It'll be the closest hockey has come to a best-on-best competition since the 2016 World Cup. Agree or disagree? I saw Finland name their captain this morning. It's the Panthers' Alexander Barkov, who adorns our stage every day, our set. I will carry this conversation over next hour because I said to Darren, do you care about this, the captaincy? I care a lot about the tournament. I don't care about the captaincy. It's 2 weeks. How much influence can a captain have in the dressing room within 2 weeks? This is purely ceremonial. But Darren goes, I don't, but it'll be Sid. And I'm like, yeah. I haven't even thought about it. I don't know. Could be McDavid. It's not that big a deal. It's only 2 weeks. Although maybe it is. Darren says this is for the kids, just like the skills comp tonight in the Pro Bowl. The sports update's brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Number one at Landmark Cinemas box office now, the movie Flight Risk. In this high-stakes suspense thriller directed by Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg plays a pilot transporting a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem. Who really is when you think about it? Flight Risk in Landmark Cinemas now. 902-518-3033 is the number to get at me. Vintage Sasko continues, as I am now an ordained minister. No jokes. They're wondering, how shall I be addressed? Vintage Sasko says, hi, Father Rod. Just curious, is the milestone minister also acceptable?
How about
That's my hometown, for those of you that don't know. Not to be confused with Maidstone. It's nowhere near. He says, also wish the CFL would do a game with all-stars versus the national flag football team. Marketing, though. See, Allie writes in from Texas, and she says, who is ready for the Four Nations? I'm kind of excited about it. You know, we'll ask Matthew Barnaby, former Dallas Star, when he joins us next hour. They're really pushing it, aren't they, Allie? They're pushing it here. John in Edmonton reminds us almost daily that ticket sales aren't going very well. The games were in Montreal and Boston. I'll tell you this, 99.99999% of Americans don't even know what it is. They're roughly figuring out what the World Juniors are after 40 years. And now this. But the hockey fans are somewhat into it. I'm going to be watching every damn game and cheering for Canada. That was a big discussion last night in the American Bank Arena press box. Who's cheering for who? Who's going to win? So, yeah, the hockey people are into it. Jeff in the zone writes, and he says, I'm excited for the Four Nations. Can't wait to go. Go Canada. We've got more. Yeah, next hour is going to be hopping. Stick around.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Allie in Texas writes in, she says, I like Jerry Springer as a talk show host. Oh, my God. We used to watch on the bus with the hockey team those tapes, Jerry Springer tapes. I don't know whose they were. They might have been mine. I was 30 years ago. We would send away and buy those damn things. Jerry Springer Show. We'd watch them on the bus. Chair throwing. Be good to yourself and each other.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, boy. We've got a lot to get to. I'm just trying to keep it all between the ditches here on hour 2. People are all over the place, and that's a good thing. Let's bring in the Moose for hour 2 of Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show, airing in 32 states plus streaming. But we are on Game Plus TV. It's episode number 1425. We've got breaking news, Moose. Your captain, Austin Matthews, AM34, has been named captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I guess we'll start there. Allie in Texarkana, she joined us late in hour 1, literally just in time. She's saying she's kind of getting excited for the Four Nations face-off. I'm getting quite excited for it, have been for a while. She says, I liked the commercial the other day with the candy. Sid just needed to bring himself as the candy. I don't know what that means. I don't watch TV commercials, and I don't really have the sound up during the games. I miss so much. But I don't feel like I'm missing anything. But I didn't have the chance to ask you this last hour. The captaincy of the teams for the Four Nations face-off, Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland. How much into it are you?
A little bit. I'm into it. I mean, and I said this about the Pro Bowl. As a kid, I'd have been all over this. I love this stuff, and I still kind of do. I think it matters a lot. I think it'll be Sid if that hasn't been announced yet. As long as he's on the team, I think it'll be him. I think Matthews is a great choice. It's probably who we expected in the U.S. as well. So I am. I'm curious to see who they are, and I'm excited to get this thing going.
Okay, good. Well, so this morning, because one of the other shows that I do is the Panthers and Lightning show here in Florida, Florida's favorite hockey show. I woke up and somebody opened my phone, and some guy's like, I can't wait to hear Matthew Tkachuk get named captain for Team USA. This is the stuff that gets Serena really upset. I'm like, if you just thought about it for a second, Matthew Tkachuk isn't even the captain of his own team. So why would you think that he would be the captain for the national team? It was never going to happen. Let it go.
How about
Let
that?
them. Let them. That's the new thing that she and I are studying right now. The concept of just let them. So it's Austin Matthews for America, Alexander Barkov for Finland, and Darren says he thinks a slam dunk that it'll be Sidney Crosby. But I don't know, man. This might be the ceremonial passing of the torch from Sid to McJesus. I think you might be getting ahead of yourself there, Moose.
Well, that's okay. I could see it. And there's going to be a time for that ceremonial passing of the torch. There is. It's going to happen. They're going to be on the same team, and McDavid will be the captain, and Crosby will be a third or fourth line leader. But I don't know if it'll happen this year.
Probably be this one, because when's the next one? The Olympics, I guess. Yeah. And there's no reason to think Sid's slowing down. Now, here's the other thing. Everybody is having a lot of fun with the fact that I'm an ordained minister now. And that is a fact. Wayne in Victoria, BC wants to know the details of me being ordained. It's for the Universal Life Church. Go look it up. Anybody can. America's largest non-denominational church. Why does it matter? Carlos says, he's in Indianapolis, with Rod now being an ordained minister, is he marrying Moose and his fiancée?
How about that?
Well, they haven't asked. So
we haven't got that far yet. That might be on the table.
Okay, good. It ain't free. No money, no funny. Regarding the TBL, you missed this earlier. Kate Pedersen has texted me. She's on her way into town going to this TGL. I don't want to poo-poo things, but I'm going to poo-poo it. Like, I can't be into everything. Tiger Woods Indoor Golf League. I don't even know what it is. But apparently we do have some golf fans that are watching the show. Ron in Calgary writes in from the 403, and he says, Morning, Rod. I will guarantee you one thing. Indoor golf for the pros on TV will last 1, maybe 2 years max. What do you know about it? Because I know nothing, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I've actually been watching it. Leanne and I have been watching it, and more so curiously checking it out. I think it's on Tuesdays is typically when it is. And it's indoor golf. They have the cool setup, cool different way to play the game. I wonder if it's the future. I really kind of do. You know, golf courses are expensive to operate. And if you can create some excitement and the skills and everything from a simulator and inside a stadium, it might be. I don't think it's an immediate future, but it hasn't got me yet. Okay, I'll tell you that. When I watch like a little bit here, come back in an hour, a little bit there. It hasn't got me there yet, but it's new, so I'm willing to give it a chance. But I'm not hooked.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the place to do it. Like the one of the first times, Brent from Wellington, Florida, took me out on his boat. That's him right over here over my shoulder on the framed photo of us catching that 40-pound sailfish. He was pointing at all these homes on the coast. He's like, that's Sergio Garcia's place. That's Rory McIlroy's place. That's Justin Spieth's place. We go around the corner. Oh, that's Guy Fieri's place from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Or maybe the Sports Doctor. One of the two. We see a guy coming and going. He looks a lot like Guy Fieri in the Sports Doctor. But it's just quite interesting, the people that are around here. And we talked an hour ago about just this morning in the gym with Joe Girardi. I'm trying to get him on my hockey podcast. He's not sure. He wants to think about it. I think he's going to, though. I'll let you know. Here's another thing before we get to tonight's NHL games and our breakaway bets segment that we play all the time, every day. Actually, two things on the NHL. Number one is our poll question. I should mention that. It is for EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Visit them at emjmarketing.com and look up Joe. Poll question is, what should be the Utah Hockey Club's team name? 75% of you saying the Utah Mammoth. 75% say the Mammoth. 13% say Utah Hockey Club. And 12% say the Utah Wasatch. Like, for the love of God. What have you learned about what a wasp? Now, I didn't know what a kraken was either, but do you know?
I'll be honest, I haven't Googled it yet, and I will maybe in the afternoon. Maybe I will. But I think it's supposed to be a replacement for the Yeti. It's supposed to be similar to a Yeti, right?
Ew. Clark saying it is the region of mountains around Salt Lake City. Well, that's exciting, eh? Let's go, Wasatch.
But it's kind of like Rocky.
Where do they
but less
find
cool,
these?
Right?
Yeah, we're named after a mountain. Can really get behind that. No, I get it. There were the Colorado Rockies. I get it, but there's nothing exciting about that. What do you do for a mascot? Boy. And then here's one. Here you go. Paul in Humboldt's watching. He says, Wasatch Mountain Range, as Clark has just pointed out. Jeff, the Stamps, we talked about this the other day, Jeff, but he goes, Rod can marry Jerry the Springer guy. I now pronounce you man and horse. Let me just take a off-ramp to Crazy Town for a second. Have you watched the Jerry Springer documentary on Netflix?
Not yet. It's queued up on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, well, I feel like I want to spend way more time on this than we have time for here. But I enjoyed the documentary a lot. I really did. And the guys that produced that show back in the day have no souls. They have no souls. They don't. Hey, I stopped watching Springer over 20 years ago. I just got way too stupid. Did you know that it went till 2018 before it finally was canceled? Did you know that?
No, it was going that long. I thought it was done 15 or 20 years ago.
So did I. Yeah. So they got into the craziest storylines and how it seemed to be like it was addicting. It was. Not just for us, the viewers, but also for those producers. Like one guy goes, this has gone far enough. I quit. 2 years later, he's back. He couldn't live without it. It's a 2-episode series. It's worth watching. It is. It's just like Oprah. She's dumping all over it all the time. And they're like, it's that whole thing. Then why are you watching? The interviewer, Oprah's just crapping all over Jerry Springer. It's deplorable. It's terrible. The episode with this, and this was just awful. Why are you watching it, Oprah? She didn't have an answer. She's like one of the 220 million people watching it every day. I hate this show. Yeah. It's like my high school principal, Bob Reese. I hated the movie Slapshot. I hated it all 3 times I watched it. I hated it. My dad's like, why is he watching it 3 times? Okay. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, when is the documentary coming out on the Rod Pedersen show? I'll watch that. It's still cooking. It's still a bun in the oven. Before we get to the breakaway bets, and it is 1:11 Eastern, and notice the new quieter bell that I bought.
I was going to say, are we just going to gloss over the tea time bell?
Yeah, I got this from the Hobby Lobby. Bless you, my children. Before we get to tonight's NHL games, I saw on a recent Spittin' Chicklets. I don't listen to the show, but I do watch the clips. I'm not anti-Spittin' Chicklets. Just not something I'm going to spend time on. Pat Maroon talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is now with the Chicago Blackhawks, who will be here on Saturday. Maroon. And he was saying how the veteran Lightning players thought it was dirty the way they dealt with Stamkos. The way it was done, getting rid of him. I don't know if you saw the clip or not. But I'm like, we've been talking about this on the Cats and Bolts podcast for months to the point where people were like, on call. And furthermore, Stamkos is doing next to nothing in Nashville, and the Lightning are in a playoff spot. How do you feel about Maroon going after the Lightning now that he's not there anymore? Because it kind of falls into your post-game trash talk thing where you don't like it. You know, we're all supposed to move on, but guess what? Nobody does. Over to you.
I know, and I don't. The post-game trash talk is something I definitely don't like. But it's tough. You move on, but that's your old team. But then you still got to do, like, it's tough. It's complicated. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's going to happen, right? I don't like it, but it's going to happen. I get it.
I know. Listen, it's very hard. It's very hard. Colin in Victoria, BC writes in. And Colin in Victoria, BC, he says, I'll give you an example of this. He goes, Father Rod, where is your green and white Rider Pride on the rack behind you? Where is your green and white Rider Pride on the rack behind? I wrote him back. They fired me 6 years ago and still won't put any of their people on my show. That's where it is.
Bingo!
He wrote me back. And goes, thank you. Been away from Sask for a few years. I didn't know that you were terminated. Well, now you know. It's a never-ending loop of people bringing it up. It's just tough, man. What do you want? What do you want me to say? I don't cheer for them and they don't cheer for me. Hence, nothing on the rack. Is that good enough for you? Okay. God, oh gosh, Jesus. I'm supposed to hold a news conference.
But you wore the shirt into the gym this morning.
Yeah, because I wanted to sweat it up. Not wearing it to want to go to church. Okay. I ran into Darian Durant's wife this morning in the gym. It's a great conversation starter.
Yeah.
She says, are you a Rider fan? No, but I worked for them. So did my husband. Oh, who's your husband? Darian. Darian who? Wouldn't that have been something if I'd said that? Okay. Okay, we got to do this in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Winnipeg at Boston tonight, NHL. Who? I'm going with the Jets. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Minnesota at Montreal. Ole, 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 ole. Habs for me.
Ooh, give me Minnesota.
You can have them. We're tied 29-29, by the way. LA Kings at Tampa Bay Lightning. I'll go with the Bolts.
I'll go with LA.
Okay. Washington at Ottawa. Battle of the nation's capitals. The nation's capitals. Washington at Ottawa. I think I'm going to go with Ottawa.
Okay. I'll go with Washington. We're going to make something happen here.
We're going to make some beautiful music here. Chicago, that title in town. They're at Carolina. Give me the Canes. You?
Yeah, Canes for me too.
Islanders at Philadelphia.
Ooh, Philly.
Okay, I'll take the Isles. Detroit, as Bob Cole would say, at Edmonton. Todd McClellan's return, the Todd father. Oilers? Yeah, me too. The Todd father returns, but we're both taking Edmonton. Ducks at Calgary. We're going to have roasted duck tonight in the Saddle Dome. What do you think, Moose? Flames, Ducks. Who do you like?
Flames. Give me the Flames tonight.
Me too. Columbus at Vegas.
Vegas.
Me too. And San Jose at Seattle.
San Jose for me.
Okay, Kraken for me. Let's get Kraken. Regarding the gym story this morning, Jeff the Stamps fan says, weird you wouldn't already know Durant's wife. Not weird at all. I'm not a creep. I don't follow the players home. Have a great afternoon, Moose.
All right. Check you later.
Matthew Barnaby. Can't wait. Joins us next to talk about all of these things. We're live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasts wherever you find your podcasts.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to World Championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Florida is a beautiful thing. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information at emjmarketing.com. Can we bring him in? Every time I think about Matthew Barnaby, I hear Fred Flintstone's voice in my head. Hey, Barney. How you doing, Barney? What's going on?
Roddy, I'm good. I'm cold. I just got back to Buffalo. Rob Ray gets inducted into the Sabres Hall of Fame tomorrow, so flew in for that, but not liking this 20-degree weather instead of the 80 that you're in right now.
I know it. I saw that you were just here. I'm like, why would you go north? But you know what? For Rob Ray's Hall of Fame induction, I get it. I get it. You can't miss that. Barney, I always enjoy our chats because you know you have a home here. You can say whatever the hell you want. And today, the Four Nations face-off teams are announcing their captains. And I'm not really that into that because I don't know how meaningful a captaincy is going to be for over a 2-week period. But how much are you into that and the tournament overall here coming up?
The tournament I'm excited about. I always love best on best, or, I go back to Rendezvous 87 and Canada Cups. Those are my favorite times that I've seen. Obviously, Olympics when Crosby had the golden goal. This is just going to be another great couple weeks of hockey, and I don't mind it taking time out during the season to watch it. I think everyone loves to see best on best. As for the captains, I could care less. I saw Victor Hedman was announced. Sidney Crosby obviously is going to be the captain of Team Canada, but I really could care less who the captains are. I just can't wait to see it. Can't wait to bet on it, and just absolutely love it.
Okay, well, that's two of us. Well, listen, cheering is easy. It's Canada for me all the way, even though I'm a permanent resident of the USA and you've got your American ties. We're all going to cheer for Canada, but who do you actually think is going to win?
U.S. has a good team, man. They're just. I find the U.S. is a lot younger. A lot of their stars are younger, but I'm on Canada. I'm betting Canada. It's hard to bet against Canada when you're Canadian, whether it's World Juniors or anything best on best. So I'm on Canada, but the United States has a really, really good team.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Barney, I'm betting Canada. That's the meme. Okay. As we move along.
Plus 170, by the way. Plus 170. I think they're both plus 170. So for every $100 you bet, you win 170.
I don't even know what that means. Okay, I was just going to say to the audience, if you got questions for Barney, fire them my way because I'll hog Barney's time myself. So get him in here now. And Jeremy writes in from Winnipeg, and he says, hey, Barney, what was it like to play with Mario and Jagger?
Unbelievable. I was fortunate to be able to play with probably 25 Hall of Famers, Joe Sakic and Forsberg, Lindros, Messier. Mario Lemieux is the best player that I've ever seen in my life. Maybe I'm a little skewed. No one's ever touching Gretzky's records. We know that. But Mario, healthy, 6'5", 240, to be able to dance like a magician, stick handle, passer. He could do it by himself. Was absolutely incredible. And one-on-one, another big guy in Jagr, one of my favorite teammates of all times, only because he just loved the game. He loved playing the game. He loved having fun, loved his teammates, always wanted to be better. And he really held everyone accountable in the fact that, if our team wasn't playing well and he wasn't playing well, he was going to put onus on himself right away and say, I have to be better. But God damn it, you all got to be better. We all, Barney, you got to dump pucks in better. You have to make it where we can retrieve them. You got to bring more emotion. Same thing to the D. But both of them used to use the funny line when our D weren't playing well and go D to D. That D to them boys is not working. So let's try to find guys in the same color shirts and let's have some fun. But Mario, I'm doing his event. He's got a fantasy camp in 3 weeks. Probably the best fantasy camp and best 6 days you can have. It's a great time.
902-518-3033, the Progressive Insurance text line. If you got questions for Matthew Barnaby, it's funny. You talk about where those places where you played, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Buffalo. To me, you're always a Sabre, but that's me. You may feel differently. The Rangers, I was just in Chicago, and before we talk about the state of the Blackhawks, I really want your take on the trade. I'm not done talking about the trade. Last Friday night, man. I saw you were chiming in on social media when it was going down. I thought it was an April Fool's joke or fake news. I couldn't believe it was happening.
Listen, I understand everyone wants to get paid. And Rantanen, obviously, the number couldn't work for the Colorado Avalanche. I think they did the best they could under the circumstances and fitting him in and moving him and getting some. I love Martin Necas. I think he's a very good player. So like you get a guy of that caliber that's a lot younger, a lot cheaper, and you can add to your team going forward. Nathan McKinnon, listen, there's Connor McDavid, there's Nathan McKinnon, two of the best players in the game. You can take either of those two, flip-flop them. You're going to be happy with either of those guys. It's hard to win, and we see it in Toronto when you have so many guys making a certain threshold of money. So listen, I respect Colorado so much. I know Joe Sakic and the above, they've had internal discussions on what they were going to do. They made a trade that they thought was best for their team, not only now, but in the future. Is Rantanen the best player? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you want $14 million a year times 8, that's tough to make your team competitive when you know that McKinnon's going to be coming back up and you have a guy like Cale Makar that's going to be in that same range of money going forward. So I think that's how you start to respect guys like Sidney Crosby so much more, Tom Brady when he was in the NFL so much more. Guys are willing to take less for the team to do better and have success. And I think that's where you start to really respect guys that are out there and do that. Rantanen has every right to go get as much money as he can. I'm not begrudging him in any which way. He has every right. I just think we respect when other guys take less, 12 million instead of 14 million, 10 million instead of 12 million. I think you know where we're going here.
Of course. And you have that player perspective that the fans don't really understand, but it's like get as much as you can while you can.
Yeah.
That's the way the players look at it, right? And you should not be offended by that. Avalanche of questions have come in. Pardon the pun, but I will say this. So I was just in Chicago. I spent the night in the Blackhawks alumni suite. Who do I run into? Kyle Calder. And he's a big fan of yours, by the way. I think you told me when you showed up in Chicago, he was the captain. And even Calder said, he goes, I wasn't the captain for long. But I don't know who was worse, the Blackhawks then or the Blackhawks now. What do you think?
Wow. That's tough. I was only there a year, and it was a mess. I mean, it was a mess all the way around the organization and under old ownership. It was a tough place to play. Going in there, we weren't on TV. 6,000 fans. We got like 100 tickets to give away every night, and we couldn't give them away. So playing inside of the United Center, which holds about 21,000, having 6,000 in there was very tough. You know what? They put the leadership on guys that weren't ready for that. And I love Kyle. I love Mark Bell, Tyler Arneson. You know, those were the leaders that we came into that room with. And then myself was inserted, and Marty Lapointe, Curtis Brown, Jason Cullimore, Nikolai Habibulin. We weren't really given that time to turn around. Now they found out once they drafted Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and Patrick Sharp, who we got Duncan, Seabrook, and Sharp all in that same year as rookies. I was like, the future is very, very bright here. I'm not going to be here to see it. There's no way that's going to happen. But I don't know. It's pretty damn close. This team stinks pretty bad now, Rod. And, you know, Connor Bedard's in a tough spot. He's just not surrounded by a lot of good players. And that's the hard thing when you go first overall and the expectations are so high for you. When you're on the worst team in the league, there's very few Sidney Crosbys and Connor McDavids that can come in and do what they do. And that's how special they really are.
I think McDavid went through darker days in Edmonton than Bedard's going through now. So it's like, get used to it, Connor, is all that I can say. Yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Listen, I hear rumors, maybe he wants out. Maybe he's going to ask for a trade. Listen,
no.
It's up to you to be the leader like those guys did. When Crosby went to Pittsburgh, he doesn't come. They're folding up shop there, just like when Mario did in '84. Connor McDavid went through some tough times there, and it's up to those guys to change it. It's up to Connor McDavid to change the mentality, the expectations, and the product on the ice to change that organization into a perennial winner, contender. It's hard to win a Stanley Cup, but Crosby's done it. McDavid's got his team close to it, and he will overcome it. That's part of being a generational talent and a first overall pick.
Exactly. BW in Edmonton says, Barney, who was your toughest fighter you ever faced?
Wow. I just got an invitation from Friday Night Fights, which is a Flyers alumni thing. And third year in a row, it's a lot of fun. They raise a lot of money for a great cause. But Stu Grimson, the hardest I ever got hit was Darren McCarty. I think you guys can see the remnants here. There's 28 stitches. That was a unibrow. And every time I look in the mirror and shave or put some product in, I'm reminded of Darren McCarty hitting me. But Stu Grimson, man, the Grim Reaper. Anytime you fight a guy like the Grim Reaper, you're probably in for it. So Stu has become a very good friend, probably the smartest guy I know that's ever played hockey, intelligent, well-spoken, and just a true gentleman. But he was probably the toughest fight.
But let's be honest, the wires aren't quite touching in Keller's head.
No.
They're
No. When you watch,
there's something. Yeah.
Yeah, you go back and watch those fights from the 80s when he came in, and he played in Canadian university hockey before he turned pro, and he just looks like a psycho. And now you sit with him, he has a glass of Merlot or Chardonnay, and I'll get a text from them literally the day before the event, day before, and he calls me Sweet Barney now. And he's like, Sweet Barney, I can't wait to see you. I love you. Hope the family's well. See you in a couple of days. And I just respond, I'm like, who dis? This is not the same person that I know.
I feel like I might have had a hand in brokering that deal. And don't tell me if I'm wrong. But we did a banquet together, and he brought like an hour-and-a-half long tape of his fights. It was in Estevan. And he's pointing out the fights like Howie Meeker on the screen in front of the whole crowd. I'm like, Barney, can we Grimmer, can we shut this off? Like, they're falling asleep. But he was going through every fight, every single. This is where I lost my mind here this night. Okay, last one. Colin in Ottawa. What does Barney think of the whole Sens playing preseason games in Quebec City controversy? I think my fellow Sens fans are overreacting to some preseason games going to Videotron Center.
Yeah, listen, Quebec's a great hockey town. I'm biased because I played my junior hockey 3 years in Quebec City, in Beauport, Les Arfans, a big, terrible snow owl, just very threatening out there. But I love it. Listen, Quebec, anywhere in Canada that they get to play exhibition games, I'm okay with. This is a religion for us in Canada, and especially true in Quebec, how much they love the hockey. Do I think it paves a way for Quebec to be a franchise in the future? No, I don't at all. So I think people are overreacting. I know they love their Sens. I know that people overreact all the time. But no, I think this is a great thing for the NHL, but especially for Quebec. Ottawa's there to stay. You have Michael Andlauer as your new owner who has deep, deep pockets. You're going nowhere, and maybe this even helps with a little prelude to having that rink right on the border of Quebec and Ottawa.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Kansas City three-peat.
How about
Kansas City?
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
tough.
You love teams that cover.
Philly.
I know
Philly's
that.
got a great D. Philly's got a great D. They're number one in the NFL. I think they shut down Saquon, which no one has been able to do. But Spagnuolo, that defense, they can surprise you. They'll be blitzing all day long. All day long.
Should be a hell of a game for sure. All right, Barty, have fun in Buffalo. Appreciate the time, man.
Cheers. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. The 18th all-time penalty minute leader in the National Hockey League, Matthew Barnaby. I love that guy. I'm so glad to have him on the team. We'll be right back with a sports update and overtime, whatever you'd like to get off your chest. Here's your chance. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasts wherever you find your podcast.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Welcome back to the old RP show. You caught me with my pants down, figuratively. Here we go. I wasn't ready for this, but I am now. Sports fans, join the Rod Squad newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpeterson.com. The reason I was not prepared for this, I was looking at a clip that Darren pulled from earlier in the show, and he put it in our WhatsApp group where I just said, hey, Yeti's pulling rank. They're not allowing the Utah Hockey Club to use the name Yeti, so now we need to find another name for the team. And that's our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. Who do you like? What do you like best? The Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, or the Utah Wasatch? Come on, really? They just threw that in there. Which one of these doesn't belong? Apparently, it's the mountain range around Salt Lake City. Clark looked it up. Some others have. And I feel like they should have just gone with Yeti, and Yeti, wrote him a big check. And because I've been a fan of Yeti thermoses. They're like the best. This was sent to me by the Canadian Football League as part of the gift package. The hat, the football, everything. And on one hand, it's like, I'm going to boycott Yeti now because they don't support the National Hockey League. But why? Then I'm just punishing myself. It's like that series, Ray Donovan, on Netflix. There was a guy on that show. He goes, I like everybody. Makes things easier. Doesn't it? It really does. I don't want to feud with anybody. I don't want to fight with anybody. But it's just business. It's too bad. I thought the Utah Yetis would be great. I apologize. Matthew Barnaby is so popular. He really is. And a lot of questions have come in here since he left. I apologize. Have you noticed the show has gone to a little bit of a different format? We put our guests an hour or two in the longer segment to get to more questions and comments, and we still don't have enough time. Navy Dawn writes in regarding Mikko Rantanen wanting more money. Navy Dawn, Now, I know he is truly Navy Don because he's served in the Royal Canadian Navy for a real long time, right, Don? We want to say how long. It's decades. He says, do you want cash or trophies? With the trophies will come even more cash for years after your retirement. No. That's what you think. But the money now is guaranteed. The Stanley Cup is not. The Super Bowl is not. I actually had this conversation with Garth Butcher a quarter century ago, the Vancouver Canucks great, St. Louis Blues great. He came to watch us practice in Langley, BC, where he was living. And talked about this. And he goes, the mentality of the players, was 1997 because Josh Holden had just signed with the Vancouver Canucks. And he says, as a first-round pick, 12th overall, and he goes, the mentality is get as much as you can, as soon as you can, and run. So it's been over 25 years, almost 30 years ago. Garth Butcher said that. It has changed. The only thing that's changed is more money. And the perfect guys are the guys like Sidney Crosby who have won, now have the ability to take less money. Tom Brady was kind of in that position, too. I don't think at the forefront of his career, Tom Brady was taking less money. But after he'd won a couple Super Bowls, he's like, I'll take less to improve. Him and Brady had that, him and Belichick had that great relationship that unfortunately disintegrated. That tends to happen, too, in sports. Hey, Pencil Man Sports writes, and he says, what's going on, Rod? Looking forward to talking to our boy Scotty Slapper tonight on the South Florida Tribune podcast. Sorry, my mind's not on it. I'm trying to concentrate on this show. Please save your CFL questions now till tomorrow. That's when we'll do a Football Friday with Jim Barker. By the way, who's our football guest tomorrow? Do we know, Clark? Do we have it booked yet? It's Jim Barker and Jim Barker. Lucky you. Here's our sports update. Some of the biggest names in music will come together tonight to raise money for Los Angeles area wildfire relief efforts. Fire Aid will take over 2 Inglewood venues tonight. Those are the Kia Forum starting at 6 p.m. Pacific and the Intuit Dome starting at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. I don't know where those are, but Los Angelans will. All proceeds will benefit those affected by the fires. The lineup includes Billie Eilish. I hope I'm saying that right. Do you know who that is, Clark? Billie Eilish? Eilish? I'm really losing it. Is she huge? Okay. Figuratively or literally? Figuratively, she's huge. That's the problem. Why I'm losing touch with mainstream pop culture. I sit at home and watch Netflix documentaries on Jerry Springer and listen to old school country music. But I'm happy. Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder, and more. Between the performances, there will be celebrity and non-celebrity speakers, including those who lost their homes, first responders, and firefighters. There will also be packages spotlighting those impacted. I guess what I'm doing tonight's watching that. Save for going on the South Florida Tribune Sports Exchange podcast done at 8:15 Eastern. Eilish? Oh, Allie from Texarkana isn't aware who Billie Eilish is either. Navy Don writes and he says, I'd argue you're 90% correct. That's with regards to do you want cash or do you want trophies? He says, but when you see you're on a team that has massive potential, you should do the right thing for the team's success. My 2 cents. Well, and let's not forget, Mikko Rantanen has already won a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche. I feel like he's literally in that camp of get as much as you can now. Okay. I'm like halfway through the sports update, and I don't have time to get through it all before we take a break and come back for overtime. So we're going to take the break now. Got some good stuff here. And we'll come back with your questions and comments, too. We'll be right back, live on Game Plus Television, streaming live, and podcasts wherever you find your podcast.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained, aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Here comes that white truck. He's circling the block. It's overtime, and it is brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. You see the logo on the screen. Are you looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary with state-of-the-art shooting lanes, top-notch equipment. It's the ultimate training destination for players of all ages and skill levels. I'm smiling, and in a second, you'll find out why. Whether you're prepping for the big game or just want to have some fun, Overtime Hockey Lanes has got you covered. The thing with the sponsors that we have here is they've been with us for a long time because I believe in them, and they believe in me, and I just got a kick out of Kate. CFL Kate, as we like to call her, Pedersen. Leaf Pedersen's daughter's on her way into South Florida here for what I have no idea why she's coming here, but she asked if I have been to this TGL golf, Tiger Woods indoor golf. It's all the rage. I'm like, I'm not a golfer. Overtime hockey lanes, I got time for you there. Yeah, been there multiple times. Love it. And if you love hockey, you will too. Golf, you're asking the wrong. Ew. Hang on. Sue in Winnipeg is a very smart lady. She has written on Twitter, she says, I'm listening to Rod Pedersen. It's my morning thing with coffee.
How about that?
That was on Twitter. Here's the amazing thing about Winnipeg. I'm glad, by the way. Part of the reason I love this show, it's not just an escape for you for 2 hours, it's an escape for me for 2 hours. Because for the next 22 hours after this, I'll be trying to find how the hell I fit in this world. Who's Billie Eilish? Never heard of her. Darren comes out and says the Blue Bombers are lovable losers, which I don't agree with. I don't think that. But he can think that. That's fine. And we put it on all our social media feeds that Darren said that yesterday. And then Winnipeg's going nuts. Some people actually thought it was me. Wasn't me. I respect the hell out of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. How can you not? 5 consecutive Grey Cups. They won the first 2, lost the last 3. Sets up a really big one this year. If they can even get there and they're hosting it. And it doesn't hurt that I like those guys a lot. Wade Miller, the president. Darren Cameron, the PR guy. Zach Caleros, know him from Sask. A lot of those guys. And we tease each other back and forth. So it's like, what if people think that I'm saying that about the Bombers? I don't care. I can't care anymore. We're in this world of fake news and hot takes. Believe me, I got enough hot takes. This isn't one. But then we have our former business manager, Lee Genier, say, perception's reality, Rod. I'm like, no, it's not. Reality's reality. But maybe perception's reality. I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking about Pat Maroon coming out and now torching the Tampa Bay Lightning and saying the vets were all pissed off at the way they treated Stamkos. Well, you can say it now. You're playing in Chicago. We've been talking about that on our Lightning and Panthers podcast for months, and people are getting mad in Tampa. And I'm like, well, it's the truth. I don't know how to BS. Can't do it. Why start now at 52? I'm not going to start BSing you now. That's what they said about Don Cherry. He says the things everybody wants to say. Is there still a place for that? These are the things that flip back and forth in my mind for the next 22 hours once we go off the air. Where do I fit? Should I be fake? I don't think I can. I saw a comedian here at Boca Raton, Meisner Park. Oh, my God. Greg Fitzsimmons from the Howard Stern Show. I went on my own because Serena doesn't like to do these things. So I went on my own. I was laughing so hard because he's like my age. And he's like, these things, you lay in bed at night. It's like being in your 50s. You're asking yourself these questions. His were, he's like, am I gay? He's got a wife and 3 kids. Am I gay? Did I pick the wrong career? All these things. It's an age thing. Tell me that we're not the only two, being Greg Fitzsimmons. Oh, Allie says, by the way, she wasn't laughing about Billie Eilish. She was laughing about Jerry Springer. She says, I meant watching the Jerry Springer documentary. Surprisingly, I do know who Billie Eilish is. I don't keep up with mainstream very good at all. I don't know a country singer since the year 2012. Cody Johnson, I thought, was a hockey player in the Western Hockey League. He's a country singer? John Party. I can't tell a John Party from any of these guys. Colin in Ottawa writes, and he says, yeah, I don't consider the Blue Bombers lovable losers as they won the first 2 out of 5 times they went to the Grey Cup. I know. But by the way, Darren can feel however he wants, but that's because that's the culture that we have here. I don't agree with it, but you feel that way. That's okay. That's the one thing that drives Serena crazy when we do that hockey podcast. Drives her nuts when I don't agree with her. It's okay to not agree. It's all right. It blows her mind. Shai writes in from Saskatchewan, and he says, best show to come back home to. Love you, Father Rod. Love you too, Shai. Yes, I'm an ordained minister now, and everybody's having a lot of fun with it. I didn't even finish the damn sports update. It doesn't look like I will now. Oh, hang on. Minnesota's Marc-Andre Fleury plays his final game in Montreal tonight as the Wild face the Canadiens. The 40-year-old netminder from Sorel, Quebec is in the final season of his distinguished NHL career. The chairman of the NHL's Nashville Predators and his wife want to bring the WNBA to Music City and have teamed up with a star-filled investors group, including Candace Parker, Pro Football Hall of Famer Peyton Manning, and entertainers Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Why is everybody so goo-goo gaga about the WNBA? I feel like that's a topic we need to get into one day. I read the coverage, but I'm not going to, I don't go goo-goo gaga about it. I don't go goo-goo gaga about the PWHL. Because you know what? There's enough media doing that. I do give the coverage to the CFL, the Canadian Elite Basketball League, because nobody else is. I don't understand why. There's reverse sexism going on against these leagues that we'll probably delve into tomorrow. Now to questioning myself. See you tomorrow, everybody.
McFly, hello.